you need to buy yourself a gun. What? Gun? What? Like a handgun for personal protection. If somebody tries to mug you. What? What if your government tries to throw you in a can? What? You're gonna want a shotgun. Oh. What? An automatic rifle. And a lot of ammo. Good?
We're all set to riot. Buy a gun. Before you lose your Second Amendment. Buy a gun. They'll burn you out like a Waco. They'll stick your ass in a camp. Jack-footed cops in riot gear. Gonna kick your ass and laugh. The revolution is on its way. Better lock and load your AK. Buy a gun, 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 buy a gun before you wish you bought a gun. Buy a gun, 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 buy a gun before you wish you bought a gun. We're all set to riot. Buy a gun. Before you lose your Second Amendment. Buy a gun. They gave your money to the banksters. They stole your pension funds. It's time that we took to the streets. It's time we had our turn. A revolution is on its way, and the founding fathers would say, buy a gun, 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 buy a gun before you wish you bought a gun. Buy a gun, 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 buy a gun before you wish you bought a gun. You gotta riot in the streets. Revolution's not clean and neat. You gotta riot in the streets. Revolution's not clean and neat. You gotta drag them through the streets.
Ladies and gentlemen, thank you very much. Thank you. This is PrimerTime live on UCY.tv. My name is Michael.
Hey, and I'm Dan. How you doing, Michael?
Not too bad, Dan. Dan, we have a special guest tonight. We have Jimmy Funky from the Boiler Room Radio.
Good evening, everybody.
How you doing, Jimmy?
I'm doing good. How are you guys doing tonight?
Great. The weather's warming up.
Oh, yeah. It was up in the mid 60s here today, 66 degrees today. I took the cover off the boat, got the battery charging up, getting ready to throw it in the water tomorrow.
Yeah, all right.
I have a window open with a fan on right now. That's how nice it is. We're back into shorts weather.
Yeah,
Back
yeah.
into shorts weather.
The mailman came around today wearing shorts. I threw some windows open here in the house today, too. It was absolutely gorgeous.
I'm just tickled to death. I have a window to be able to target shoot some. It's been a while. It's been so cold around here.
Yeah, shoot from inside. Just throw a window open and blink, blink, blink. Throw it back
No,
closed.
thank you. A little too loud, which brings up a good point. Eye and ear protection, you should always wear that when you target shoot. I'm a firm believer.
Absolutely. Absolutely. It takes one time of standing next to somebody with a cheap, older single-action .22 revolver, getting that spray from between the cylinder and the forcing cone right there. Yeah, you'll think twice about it, how you take care of your eyes at that point.
Yeah,
Was that from personal experience, Ham?
Absolutely.
Catch some hot cordite in the eye, did you?
I don't know if it was the cordite or if it was a little bit of lead and a little bit of copper or whatever it was, but it was pretty damn close. It was close enough to where I was thankful. And we learn through these experiences, and hopefully that a little bit of my pain can express to people. Please put on some safety gear.
Same here, Michael. I had a piece of something shooting a .22 pistol, target pistol, fly in my eyes and like killed me. It's very painful.
Yeah, the first time I got a chance to shoot my SIG, I didn't throw anything in my ears, and I was listening to that gun go off for about 4 days. So,
tell you what, that 223 round 5.56, that's inordinately loud for its size,
Well, and I put a muzzle brake on the end of the gun when I first bought it, so it was quite a bit louder than it should have been.
Yeah, that throws that all right back at you.
Yeah. It looks good, though. It's got the teeth on it for jamming into a door.
It's mean. It's mean looking. I thought about putting one of those spiky muzzle brakes for busting in like door locks and stuff.
Yeah,
I thought about putting one of those on a shotgun, and then I thought, well, I'm not really busting any door locks with that. I have keys.
No, but it's good for, I mean, you know, if you don't have a bayonet.
There's one out there. It's called the Chaos Warthog, and it's I think they're 1/4 inch around metal spikes. They're about the diameter of chopsticks, but there's 9 of them that come around this muzzle brake that you can slide in and out, and it's just it's Mall Ninja extraordinaire.
Mall Ninja.
I'm really surprised that the Picatinny rails aren't actually attached to that muzzle brake, you know, with the 9 deployable spikes of death.
That's overkill, I think.
Yeah. I did see something that was for the under barrel, rail on pistols, and it was, a melee weapon. It was like an axe blade that would clip onto that. Come on,
I've seen some Facebook memes where they've got a handgun that's got everything on it, you know, the folding stock and the bayonet and laser and flashlight and all kinds of crap hanging off of it.
A couple of cup holders, a 12-volt plug on it.
Right. Yep. And it's a little 380.
So speaking of all these goodies, what comes with the SIG as you pull this thing out of the box?
You can get some of the M400s with the handle on top, you know, like the old school M16s, but, mine, I just got a flat top and, I got it with all the, Magpul accessories. It's got the Magpul, rear end on it, and it's got the Magpul, handguard on it.
It's got a flat top.
Right. Yeah.
How long does the rail run on that?
10 inches. About 10 inches.
All right. That's almost the full length of the handguard and top of the receiver.
Right. It is. It's all the way out to the barrel. I mean, where it breaks open, it's just like a regular M16, except, you know, where the handle goes, that's all Picatinny.
Okay. Did you happen to buy any of the backup sights for that?
Yes, I do have the flip up Magpuls, the metal ones. But, for the back, you know, I've still got the front sight on it. I didn't take the front sight or anything off of it, so it's still got the front sight pin on it. But, went out and bought a, Trigicon and stuck it on top of there. So
that's Trigicon. Excellent choice.
Yeah. And they've got a set of irons on top of the Trigicon too, so.
Backup irons.
Yep.
So the Navy model, so to speak. I know that I'm familiar with those optics. They're very nice.
Yeah, it's the original one. It's not the one with all the fiber optic stuff on it. It's got the crosshairs inside that are radioactive.
Is that the one that has the actual scriptures and the serial number on the side of it?
Yes.
That they called that the Jesus scope over there in the first Desert Storm War, I believe.
It's quite a scope. It's the only one that Trigicon makes that's fully waterproof.
Yeah, it's a very nice scope.
Yeah. $1,000. I paid as much for that scope as I did for the gun.
Because I think what people will find with optics is they are pricey.
Yeah, good ones are. I mean, you can buy them off of cheaper than dirt all day long for $40, but you know,
you get what you pay for.
That's right. You get what you pay for. You know, if you buy a $40 sniper scope and you put it on there and it shoots crooked, guess what?
Yeah, I agree with that. All right, so you got this rifle straight out of the box. It comes with it's a flat top of Magpul furniture on it.
Yep.
What kind of magazines does this come with?
It comes with one PMag, 20-round PMag, or 30-round PMag, excuse me.
30-round PMag, yep.
All right, and it only comes with one.
Right. And I got to tell you, everybody out there, some people like PMags, some people do not. I do not. I shoot them because I've got several, you know, but I also bought some regular steel stamp Colt AR-15 magazines because the PMags, they fit so tight in the well. It's not, I mean, you have to really smack the bottom of those things to get them to seat and lock in.
Ah.
They are a pain in the ass, dude. They are a pain in the ass. And I've seen video after video of guys overseas that bitch the same way. You know, they're like, I can't stand these goddamn PMags, you know, because you really have to concentrate on putting that mag in. If you're running a sport drill, trying to foul, clear a foul. It's not
Yeah,
going
you
to
just
go
want
as
a
quick
mil
as you
spec.
think. Yeah, it's not going to go as quick as you think. So.
You just want a mil-spec magazine. Like you said.
Yeah. If you're going to buy an AR platform, get yourself some stamped steel mags and make sure they say Colt on the bottom of them because there's some crappy ones of those too.
Well, there's a lot of suppliers
Yeah.
that provide it to the military. Checkmate is one of them. Adventure, I think it's Adventure Outdoors.
Yeah.
Was another one, and some of those they're
Tapco.
well used.
Tapcos
No,
are junk.
Tapco is horrible.
They are
I can't.
junk. Everything that they make so far that I've seen has been junk.
Tapco?
Yeah.
Tapco and Pro Mag. I can't caution people enough. Don't spend your money on that. Save up and buy the real deal.
They're made for the couch prepper.
I'll tell you what is just as kind of a gun guy thing. I'll tell you what kind of gun I always see, or what type of pistol I always run across has 2 Pro Mags with it, and it's usually a used, fairly beat up Ruger P Series, and it comes with an Uncle Mike's holster, the one that has the magazine at the front, with the Velcro strap that goes over the top.
Holster, right?
The nylon holster. It's the $9.99 big box special, and that. More often than not, if you see a used Ruger P Series out there, and especially one of the metal frame P Series, so that's everything up to the P89, P90, and all that.
Those quality holsters that say fit most models.
It has a big 5 on the side.
Right, yeah. Yeah, we've run across all that kind of shit though, Yeah. I've got to admit though, full disclosure, I've bought some of that crap too. Just falling for, the ad. So.
They do make a nylon holster that you can fit to any gun where you can move all the straps around at any angle. They're hooked up by Velcro, so you can.
I'm less concerned with somebody buying the crappy holster than I am with them buying a Pro Mag or Tapco. And I think the crappy gun situation is kind of taking care of itself because with the advent of video games and mass marketing of our pop culture, spending money on firearms has become kind of like a status thing, just like anybody else or like any other thing. Trucks, houses, swimming pools, whatever. If they could, MTV throw a show out there called Guns and have a Z at the end. And it would have nothing but rappers showing off whatever they've got. If they could make money
that'd be
off
followed up by
and if they
lifestyles of the rich and whoa, he went behind bars.
Yeah, well, but so with firearms being an item of almost luxury anymore and status. I think we're seeing a move away from lower quality firearms and lower cost. There's always, I believe that the Jimenez, Brico, Jennings, Raven, that design of pistol. Mm-hmm. I don't know if you're familiar with those, if you've ever had the misfortune of owning
I've owned a Jennings, but it was a bow. It was an Astro Flight. That was many, 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 many years ago when I was in Alaska. But it was a hell of a bow. But I didn't know they got off on firearms.
No, it's not the same company. I don't.
Okay,
believe.
Thank God.
I don't believe it's the
You're
same
talking
company.
about the 25 caliber Saturday night special type guns.
That's the one that they would actually refer to as a Saturday night special. I don't particularly like that name. I think
the
it's
little hammerless 38.
They make a 380, they make a 22, they make a 25, they make a
25
9mm.
was most popular. Yes, that's correct.
That's one of those behind the ear guns, and then once you're done pulling the trigger, you throw it in the river, right?
Or you drop it on somebody that was carrying
it. Might float up if you threw it in the river. You best
gun
throw
that
that
floats.
In with a full
Nice. A gun that
you
floats.
best throw that in with a full magazine. It would be hard to do because seriously, I don't think you're ever going to discharge enough rounds out of that thing to empty that magazine.
Wow.
Now, Michael, I own a Raven Arms 25 ACP. Never been shot before. I found it in my dad's drawer after he died. And he had bought it off my uncle who needed some money at the time. And the sticker, he paid sticker price on the side of the box, and it was $29.99.
I can remember the Raven being in stores for $49.99.
Well, this is probably a little bit before then, so
Yeah,
the sticker is still on the box. I've still got it in the box.
I believe now I'm pretty sure now that company, Raven, is now probably part of the Jimenez Arms empire, and which is its own interesting story in itself. It's they were sued into oblivion and have come back several times, but and it's always somebody within the family.
You mean somebody actually shot the gun that lived?
They were actually, Jimmy, I'm telling you what, there for a while, back when Clinton was president, that was considered one of the most dangerous firearms in the United States.
Oh yeah, there was when they first came out with the AR platforms and they allowed everybody to start making them, there was some knockoffs coming out where I've seen videos of people pulling the trigger on them and the firing pin goes out the back of the gun through their cheek. And there's been some junk weapons that hit the streets over the last 30 years.
Oh, there's been some very interesting ones. Lots of recalls. The latest, biggest recall I can think of right now is the Carcal pistols that come out of the United Arab Emirates. Somewhat of a Glock copy, and I use the term copy pretty loosely. It's their own design. It was somebody who was actually associated with Glock and Steyr that went to work for this company out of the UAE. But they recently recalled every single one of the pistols that they had sold. And for full refund, there's no repair offered by the factory, which is kind of interesting. I mean, it was a pretty nice striker fired polymer frame pistol. And, what was interesting was they had come out with a carbine that had taken the exact same magazines in a completely different layout than, Beretta's, Storm carbine. That, you put the magazine in the pistol grip of that. Well, with this, Carcal carbine, you put the magazine forward of the trigger area, and it was pretty neat design. And I don't know if the new pistols are going to be compatible with that carbine or not, but I think they took a pretty big hit on that.
I would imagine firearm company lawsuits are quite pricey.
They're based out of the UAE, so be interesting to see what happens. They just may lose rights to sell here, if they don't take care of it. But so far I haven't heard any serious complaints about people saying that they've had horrible problems trying to get the refund or whatever.
It's funny how the firearm companies are moving out of the north, Michael. Seems like they're running out of there like cockroaches all of a sudden. Now Remington is moving to Alabama. And we had Beretta move to Tennessee. So they're fleeing all the northern states up there and coming south for some reason.
Well, possibly to get out of the snow, but I have a strong feeling it's not. I think it's to get out of that almost crazy Yankee mindset of we can control and legislate every portion of your life. And this is a real industry. These are real people who make real money. This is how they make their living. This is their job, and they do a damn fine job.
So, the response to Sandy Hook was for Connecticut gun owners to have to register any assault type rifle that they own, AR-15s, AKs, etc.
Well, that's not going
too good, Michael. There's suspected 20,000 to 100,000 people that refuse to sign up for register their assault.
There's a local paper up there that's calling for the prosecutor's office to arrest them all.
I've got that right here. I've got it's out of the Hartford Courant.
Mm-hmm. There you go.
And it's from the 14th.
Yep.
Straight up, it just says Connecticut has a gun problem. Estimated that perhaps scores of thousands of Connecticut residents fail to register their military-style assault weapons with state police by the 31st. And it goes on, and to to suffice it to say, it says, if you want to disobey the law, you should be prepared to face the consequences, as the final line in the article. And the last 3 paragraphs of the article give what the penalties are for failure to comply.
5 years, $5,000 fines, is what it is, something like that?
That's what it is. It's a Class D felony calling for a maximum sentence of 5 years in prison and a $5,000 fine.
Well, how about we write an article tomorrow that says, if you intend to push tyrannical, unconstitutional laws, quote unquote, on the American people, then you should be ready to face the consequences.
Well, Jimmy, this is interesting. This is a private newspaper calling for this.
Yeah. They want the prosecutor's office to arrest everyone that failed to register.
But see, this is it. They want somebody else to do it.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Fight our war for us, please. We're just going to stand over here and wave our liberal flags.
The state law did make those guys instant felons, so.
It's unconstitutional law, and you know what it says? Unconstitutional law. Unconstitutional laws are null and void from their inception, and they are not to be implemented, nor are they to be followed. Period.
They're going to the point of where they're actually trying to reopen the registration period, give an amnesty, so people will comply with the law that doesn't work.
Whatever. They didn't register them the first time. You think they're going to go in the second time and go, sorry?
I was late. I was at a family
barbecue. Not going to happen. You know, the words assault rifle is a conundrum anyway, because there's no such thing. Literally or figuratively, there's no such thing as an assault rifle or an assault weapon. Because,
well, technically any machine gun is an assault type weapon.
A weapon cannot assault. Only a person can.
Well, that's true.
A weapon is a machine. It's not capable of thought. It's not capable of anger. It's a conundrum. There's no such thing.
Yeah, well, I'd agree with you, Jimmy. Good point.
But I get off on all the nitpicky stuff, because I can't stand people telling me how to live my life. I think there's only one person on this planet that can tell me how to live my life properly, and that's me.
That's correct. And they put the Second Amendment in there for a reason. That was
That's
to
right.
protect all the rest of the amendments.
That's right. It was to protect us from a tyrannical government. That's exactly what it specifies.
Yeah, that's I don't know what to think about it. They went for the gun grab, and Obama's actually been the gun salesman of the year for the past 6 years, though. So.
Oh yeah. Since he got reelected too. After the reelection, it was Katie bar the door. Colt couldn't produce them fast enough. Smith & Wesson couldn't produce them fast enough. Ruger couldn't produce them fast enough. They were sending out, notes to all the retailers saying, hey, we're sorry, man, we're punching them out, but you guys are going to have to, tell your customers to just hang in there and getting them out a little bit at a time. They'd send 50 to this store and 100 to this store and 200 to this store and 20 to this store. And same way with the ammunition, it hit the shelves and disappear.
Yeah, that is, I don't even want to go into, we talked about that so much that we're beating a dead horse there now, essentially.
Right. The ammunition shortage is just disgusting. Don't buy from private sales right now.
Well, don't buy from a gun show.
Don't pay the inflated price.
Right. Don't pay the inflated price, but you can find some private sellers that'll sell it, at a reasonable profit. Or like I got some ammunition off a guy and I paid what he paid. He showed me the receipt. He said, I just can't use this ammo. I don't have the gun anymore. I want to get rid of it. So I paid.
Yeah, that'll work. But don't. If there's a guy out there who's got a box of 550 Remington Golden bullets, which is 3 or 4 cents
don't pay more than
normal
$35,
times,
$40 maybe.
Don't pay the 70 or 60 bucks he's asking for it.
Right. $35, maybe $40. Let him make a little bit of profit. If you really want the ammo that bad. Shit, you used to be able to pick that box up for $19.95.
I was in the store and I heard some guys talking and they were actually excited because they got the last 2 bricks that had come out, and I said, I'm up to 1,400 rounds. I've got 900. And I'm like,
It does, it brings up a good point though, Michael, as far as, good old capitalism. Gunbroker.com, which is a site I really believe in because I like to buy and sell guns. And, Gunbroker, that is a good place. Like, for example, someone inherits granddad's old gun or something, old firearm or something. That is a great place to put a rare firearm for sale because you have millions and millions of people out there that are looking at Gunbroker and looking for particular guns all the time. You never
really
know.
wanna
You
buy
might have that diamond in the rough, that old rusty gun in the drawer there. You never know about those things.
Well, if you want to buy a really good cheap gun, go set up about 50 yards down the street from a gun buyback with a big sign on your car. That's where you'll find some really good deals.
Yeah, some guys were doing that, I believe, weren't they?
Yeah, hell yeah, they were, and they were paying retail price for weapons too. I mean, they weren't chincing anybody. They weren't saying, hey, you can go down there and get that $100 Target card and we'll give you $150. They were giving them what the gun was worth, So.
Well, that's interesting. I've been giving them $150.
Well,
good for you. Hey, listen, it's all about doing your homework, right?
Right? It is.
I mean, you sell a house, you do due diligence. You buy a house, you do your due diligence. You buy a car, you do your due diligence.
You buy a lemon, congratulations, you learned a lesson.
Right.
You're exactly right, Michael. When I got into guns, firearms, it was, I jumped in just full tilt, joined a range and the whole 9 yards and started buying. At first I had a goal to having one of every caliber, so to speak, and then I saw that wasn't realistic and backed off, but, I love to shoot guns, and I'm looking forward to this warm weather to get out and shoot some more.
Well, I've got
Speaking
I got a box of 22 here. I'm getting ready to go out and probably burn tomorrow afternoon. So.
Yeah, Michael, we have a little section like value in firearms that we like to talk about. We're going to talk about what tonight, the Mosin Nagant.
Absolutely, Dan.
Tell me, I'm not really familiar with that gun. I've never owned one before. Tell me about it.
It's a large bore, 30 caliber, bolt action rifle, made in the Soviet Union. I believe it first came into, use in, the 1890s. And, they were in use all the way up until, they're still in use today in some places.
Fugly makes a pretty cool polymer stock for them now with a folding rear end too.
I'll tell you what, that rifle as it comes for, now you're doing well if you find one for about $149. But that rifle as it came from the factory, that's a hell of a club when it's out of ammunition.
Mm-hmm. With the big wooden stock on it. It's a large gun for, a population that was, so small at the time.
It's a bolt action rifle with how many capacity magazine?
It holds 5 on a stripper clip. Now, what a stripper clip is a little bit different. The rim of the cartridge would ride in this little metal strip, and that would when you pop open the bolt, it would fit into the magazine. And then you could push all 5 of them straight into the magazine. You can also load them single.
So the gun was integral to the magazine was integral to the gun.
That's right.
Pushing straight down into the gun, so to speak. Is that correct?
That's right.
Belly load or whatever they call them.
Yeah, basically.
Like an SKS.
Right.
Same way as an SKS.
And, it uses a pretty good size, bullet. Something a little bit bigger than the American 308 or 7.62 by 5.1. This uses a 7.62 by 54. And, with a bullet that actually measures .311 around, it's pretty stout.
Sounds like a shoulder getter. You need to put wrap a towel in front of your shoulder. And
yeah, you've got to kind of build up that shoulder callus to use it.
But those rounds are cheap.
And they're starting to go up.
Yeah, now they are, but right now you can buy them pretty reasonable.
I still think you can buy the case of 2 metal cans. The metal cans are 440 rounds a piece, I believe. And I think I've seen them for under $200 still. Right about 175. So
For 880 rounds?
880 rounds. Usually you get, if you're lucky, you actually get the wood crate that they come in as well, which is kind of a nifty thing to have. But it's two metal cans with can openers on them, and it's, they're paper packed. And, I believe it's a, 174 grain bullet or 163 grain bullet. I can't remember. And, variety of points on them. There are soft points. Most of them are a full metal jacket military bullet. You won't get the soft point in those large cases usually.
So that thing is zipping out of that barrel pretty good?
I believe that bullet moves out right at about 2,900 feet per second.
Wow.
Yeah,
it's piercing.
Unless you load your own.
I haven't seen too many people load their own for that, just because that's such a bargain priced ammo. I mean,
I'm just throwing it out there.
It's I'll tell you what, I would dare say that that's the most fired round in the world. Definitely used in anger. It probably runs a close second to the 22 long rifle in amount fired. And that's not a joke.
Yeah, the AK fires that round, doesn't it?
No. The AK fires a 7.62 by 39. This is 7.62 by 54. It's a pretty stout.
AK fires a 39. I thought it fired a 50.
No, that fires a 39. Usually anything that fires a 54 in a semi-automatic version is going to be like a PSL or something like that. Some in a sniper rifle or some that's copied from a squad automatic weapon.
So SKS and the AK fire the same round?
Absolutely.
Yep, sure do.
All right.
7.62 by 39 all day long.
Yeah, it's to me that's probably the most versatile of rifle rounds, just because of its price and what it can do.
And I love the SKS platform also, Michael. That's one of my favorites. It was a predecessor to the AK, but it's still a darn good design, and I've never had a failure to function, even shooting the steel case stuff in it. So
I believe that those rifles were designed for that steel cased ammo.
And you said that the 308 Winchester is a 51, not a 54, right?
That's right. Yeah, 308 Winchester is 7.62 by 5.1.
I'm jotting all this down, so.
Or a NATO round. They also call that the NATO round.
Yeah. 7.62
by 5.1. That's NATO.
Yeah. And that would translate to 308 Winchester.
Yep, right. Sure does.
But the Mosin Nagant won't fire that round though, right?
No.
It won't even chamber it?
It would, but it wouldn't chamber it correctly.
No, I don't think it would chamber it. It's too long a cartridge to fit in the chamber. It was a shorter chamber of a 39 millimeter versus.
No.
I'm talking about
into the 54.
Yeah.
It probably would chamber into the 54, but I've not tried it straight up.
Too loose, I would think it'd be.
But you'd have some serious problems with it. Yep. You'd have,
probably take the
definitely
bolt out.
your case would split. You'd have.
That's a good way to ruin a gun right there.
Well, I'm just, this is stuff that people need to know. Like when shit hits the fan, if you're trying to find scrap ammo, you got to know what works with what gun, blah, blah, blah. That's the only reason I brought it up.
That's correct. That's a good point, Jimmy. And most barrels have what ammo they accept on them.
True.
Stamped somewhere. You can find it on the barrel somewhere stamped, most likely. Yep.
And that's really good to know with shotguns with 2 3/4 inch shells and 3 inch shells, and you want to know if it'll accept them both or not.
Well, that's an interesting point right there. You see people who buy a brand new shotgun. Most brand new shotguns, especially home defense shotguns, are going to be chambered for a 3 inch.
Right. Stopper round, man stopper.
That's right. Now, most of the ammo that you can buy fairly cheap is the 2 3/4 inch stuff. The 3 inch is usually a little pricier, but then there's also the big old 3.5 inch candlesticks, which, can be somewhat of a surprise if somebody buys those and figures out they don't fit.
Usually those are, mostly that's 10 gauge though, yeah?
No, there's a 3.5 inch 12 gauge.
Oh yeah, yeah.
It's mostly used for bird hunting.
Okay.
Can you imagine a turkey load at 3.5 inches? Well, that thing would knock your shoulder off.
I'll tell you what, I would not want to be on the other end of that. Turkey load inside the house is quite devastating.
You guys fire a lot of shotgun too?
I love shotguns. I think shotguns are, everybody should own a shotgun.
What do you have?
A bunch.
That's what I'm asking. Sorry, you got
I got a Remington Pump 870, the most reliable shotgun in the world, in my opinion. I love it.
Straight up honest, my favorite shotgun is you're gonna laugh.
Go ahead.
Because I have different tastes than most
You'll
people.
laugh at mine too.
I have a New England Firearms 20 gauge. It's a break open.
Ooh,
It's
nice.
an old single.
Over
It's
under?
an old. No, it's just a single shot.
Oh.
It's one of those $80 shotguns, and
I bet it shoots you though, doesn't it?
it kicks a lot harder than a 20 gauge should. It really does. And,
I own one of those, Michael. It's in 12 gauge, and I sawed the barrel off to 18.1 inches.
You know, Dan, I'd actually like to have one in 12 gauge, and I'd like to cut
Would
that
you say
thing
now
up.
it's a New England Firearms?
New England Firearms, and they're usually bargain price. You can usually find them at a show for less than $150. If you paid $150, you paid at the very upper end of the price spectrum for it.
I think I paid like $119 for one at Wally World.
Yeah, brand new. It's about $120.
Yeah, took it out of the box and sawed the barrel off. Put double aught buck with a one of those little stock saddles with the extra double aught buck law enforcement.
I'll tell you what's pretty nifty for those is there's a couple companies that make chamber inserts, and depending on the length of the chamber insert, you can do a lot with them. I've seen them in everything from 22 to 45 ACP, 9mm, 357, 38, 20 gauge, 410, 45 long Colt, 9mm.
Out of a shotgun?
Yeah, it's a little insert that you put in it.
So it's a barrel in a barrel, basically, right?
Exactly. And so
But it doesn't go that far up, right? They're only about 3 inches long, right?
Some of them are 3 inches long, and there's some that are
like a chamber.
Some of them you can have all the way to the end of the barrel if you wanted to.
Yeah, that'd be
You could make a pretty quiet one by just stuffing that thing with some kind of steel wool, probably, and then shooting a couple of bullets to it, making a hole.
I'd be scared to put a 22 long down a 12 gauge, man. I'd be afraid that bullet would tumble around inside that barrel.
Really, I don't think it should, because if you've got that cut to 18, it's not going to jump all that much out of, from
That's true.
In 15 inches, it's not going to jump that much.
The 3-inch barrel is going to keep it on track pretty much, so. And that's another thing.
Yeah.
Their 22 pistols are pretty loud when you get short barrel 22 pistols. It's surprising how loud those things are.
And once you use one of those chamber inserts for, especially a pistol caliber in a shotgun, you'll notice that the pistol caliber sounds a little bit quieter. Just and it has to do with the length of the barrel and, more gas is being moved around.
I've got a 22 Magnum long rifle that's just loud as hell.
They sure are.
It's loud as hell. And I've seen a friend of mine's got a Ruger, like a 6-shooter. I think it holds like 9 or 10 rounds though, but it's a 22 Magnum also, revolver. And that son of a bitch is loud too.
9 now. The new one's called the single 9.
That son of a bitch is loud.
Yeah. 22 Magnum's not my favorite.
They're good for banging away at little critters, man. Coyote, it's a hell of a coyote gun.
I don't think they're good for banging away, Jimmy. They cost too much.
Well,
nowadays, I guess they might cost.
Yeah, nowadays they might.
It's a good devastating little round for varmints.
Even a couple years ago, it cost as much as a 9mm.
Yeah, that's true. They do, but I don't shoot 9, so I think a 9 is a lot of people like them, so I'm probably going to get a lot of hate mail, but I don't like a 9mm. I think that's a really wasted caliber.
And what is your email address, Jimmy? Glock 19 is my favorite pistol. If I had a go-to pistol, I'm grabbing my Glock 19 to go
But they'll glance off the windshield of a car.
Well, I don't know. I've got some special bullets that might not. Who
Well,
knows?
yeah, I guess it depends on what you're shooting them through and what kind of deflection you're talking about too. But 90% of them will glance off the windshield of a car.
Well, yeah.
I'll tell you what, guys, I just took a look at the chat room. And
Oh,
they're
well, a
having
38. I don't like a 38 either.
38 works just fine. 38
I knew I was going to
just
piss some
fine.
people off, man. I knew I was.
I'm not going to get mad at it. It just
No,
works just fine.
no, Lord no.
Guys in the chat room right now, I got a little discussion about rifles in 7.62 by 39. And I'll tell you what, Ruger made one, Savage made one, CZ makes one, and Zastava makes one. And if you're an AK shooter or an SKS shooter and you've got a little bit of ammo, that's worth it. They come in at about $700. Worth every
I'd
penny.
like to have a little Ruger Mini. Those are nice.
I'll tell you what, I like a Ruger Mini 14 in 223 if I had a endless supply of brass ammo.
Yes, sir. I have a factory folding stock Mini 14, as a matter of fact, Michael. It's one of my collector guns.
Oh, shit.
That is a collector item right
But
there.
we shoot it. Bridget and I shoot the thing, so.
Is it chrome plated?
Cool.
Is it what, Jimmy?
Is it chrome plated?
No.
Oh, those
It's
chrome plated
a
ones are
model.
sweet looking, man.
Well, it's a beautiful gun. It's got beautiful wood on it and everything, and it locks up nice and tight. The stock does.
First time I ever saw one was on the 18, man. I love that gun.
Yeah, they're pretty cool guns.
Yep.
I'm not a fan of the Mini 30. Mini 30 seems to be tailored to brass 7.62 by 39. And to me, there's no point in shooting something at 7.62 by 39 if you have to use American brass ammo for it.
Yeah, the Mini 30 is not what all it was hyped up to be. You're correct,
No.
Michael. Those guns, a lot of people buy those and don't
Well,
like
you know, and I'm seeing that in a lot of the weapons, a lot of American weapons that are like cross-chambered in that caliber. None of them seem to work, especially anything on the M4, AR-15 M4 receiver. It just doesn't seem to work.
I like the old M1 Garand receiver. That's my favorite rifle, the 30-06 caliber.
My dad used to have an M1 carbine that he brought back from Korea. That was a
30 caliber,
badass. Yeah. That was a badass gun.
A lot of fun.
Yeah. He sold it to a collector down in Tennessee or somewhere. Can't remember. Kentucky maybe.
Well, I like just on the Mini 14s, one of their big problems is the magazines. It's harder than hell to get the magazines for those things anymore without spending an arm and a leg on them.
Yeah, true.
I was glad to see those mags go up so expensive, Michael. I hadn't paid that much for the magazines for mine. I bought a bunch of the factory Ruger Mini 14 magazines.
I think
I knew they were 3 times the price I paid for them.
To me, that's where ProMag and Tapco really started having problems was with those Mini 14 magazines. That's where I really started seeing a lot of reports of those things failing, was with people with Mini 14s. When Mini 14s were a little more popular.
Yeah, I had read a lot about them and realized that better be getting some factory magazines if you can. So.
You know, with CAD and laser production and, you know, there should not be any problem at all. They should be able to take a stock magazine, run it through their laser production line and make a CAD drawing of it and be able to punch those things out just like brand new. That's why, you know, Tapco pisses me off. PMags, these PMags piss me, you know, they should fit perfectly. They should be able to make something that is exactly like the stock product.
Yeah, the GI specs.
You agree? Yeah. You agree?
Absolutely. It should all be mil spec. It should all be, I believe it's called STANAG, STANAG.
Yeah,
and
standard.
That's standard NATO usage.
Yep.
And, if it doesn't fit that, I don't think it's worthy.
No.
Same with the stuff that I prefer. I prefer the stuff made behind the Iron Curtain. And if it's not ComBlock, if it's not ComBlock standard, I don't really want it. I don't like the AK platforms in the 223 or in odd calibers. I don't like them in 308. They seem to use proprietary magazines.
Yeah.
And that becomes a problem. there was a really, really nice rifle out of Serbia, and it was called the OPAP, and it was basically a thumb hole stock AK. Nice thing about that thumb hole was it was ambidextrous. The right-handed or a left-handed shooter could use it. Really nice rifle. It was made for a
design like that now.
There's some of them are pretty nice. This was just a regular thumb hole stocked rifle. But the magazine was a 10-round single stack rather than being for a 30-round double stack, and the bolt was changed. Now it works fine like it is, but it's got a polymer 10-round magazine, and it came with 2 of them, and that's it. And good luck finding another one of those magazines. And I'm not talking about, well, I've got $2,000, give me 20 of them. No, I'm just saying good luck finding them. Right. It doesn't matter how much money you have. You're just not going to find them.
No aftermarket.
Yeah, there is one company that does make a lot of aftermarket magazines for older pistols and stuff. CMG, is that it? Michael, you remember the name of the company?
I believe it is CMG. They make some stuff for things that are hard to find. I don't believe they'd make something for this. Usually the stuff they make is for people who've got a little bit of money into because their product isn't cheap.
Collectors.
Well, when you got like a 1908 Colt semi-automatic pistol that was
right.
made in 1910 or so, you might need a magazine for it. That is a good resource to find one.
But for the guy who's got I believe that rifle's $459 out the box when it was brand new. That guy's just he's not gonna get a magazine made for that. Yeah,
that's true. I like to, Michael, instead of a good guy gun story, of the week, we got a good girl gun story this week.
Absolutely.
It's pretty cool. We had a lady in her 50s in Georgia, and she's an educator, has a PhD, and some dude broke into her house and grabbed the kitchen knife, and she grabbed her gun and she shot and killed the guy.
That's that PhD at work right there.
She was fast acting, and no charges, of course, were applied to her, and she
one less scumbag,
and thank you very much for our good girl gun guy.
That'll work. Women have to take their own safety into account. Up next after us tonight is Prepper Chicks, and she believes in taking her own charge of her own safety.
Oh yeah, I'm sure she's a good shot. I'd like to meet her and Eddie sometime and shoot with them. That'd be a fun experience, I'm sure.
I believe you're right.
Need to start up a PrimerTime range.
PrimerTime range.
That'd be kind of nice.
Yeah.
Let's get into revolvers a little bit, Michael, because I like revolvers too. And everybody talks about semi-autos and Glocks and this and Glock that. Well, the gun I carry in my car is a Smith & Wesson 38. And it's a wheel gun, and in other words, a revolver with a cylinder. It's a 5-shot gun, but it guaranteed to go bang every time. And that's one great thing I love about revolvers. They do go bang every time.
That's right. And if it doesn't go bang, you've got that bad round, that odd bad round that we really don't see with modern production ammo anymore. What do, Dan?
Well, you just pull the trigger again.
That's right.
You got double action, huh?
Well, yeah, it's Model 60. It's double action or single action. The single action has a very nice trigger on it. If you take your thumb and cock the hammer back, then you've got a very light feathered trigger on that piece too. I also have the Crimson Chase laser grip on it, which the laser grip in itself is a good deterrent.
Once they see that light hit them in the chest or in the forehead, they tend to slow down their aggression.
Or speed up and get away from you if you're on the interstate.
Right, in the other direction. Correct.
Yeah, that Model 60's got a 2 or a 3-inch barrel on it.
It's like a 2.5-inch barrel on it.
Little detective special.
No, it's not the detective special. It's just a Model 60, but it's about the same thing as the detective special. Very close, very similar.
But it's got a thumb. Yeah, the detective special I think was hammerless. Yeah.
Yeah,
hammerless double action.
They've bounced around so many model names and basically changed. They're hammerless. It's a bobbed hammer. It's It's a concealed hammer. It's an exposed hammer. I personally don't like the way that they're doing the concealed hammer now. It's got a polymer shroud on it. I'm really not impressed with that on the new ones, on the new Smith & Wessons. I think it was, I want to say maybe a model 51. No, 51 is the 22 Magnum. Maybe it was a model 48 or something like that. Small, basically what you're talking about, a J frame is usually what those smaller framed 5-shot revolvers come on. And I just didn't like the polymer shroud. It just seemed cheap on a pistol that cost $700.
Yeah, they're not cheap, man. Yeah.
No, they're not. And a good revolver is not cheap. A good revolver is a tool.
Exactly.
They make I know you're not your favorite cartridge, Jimmy, a 9mm, but they also make a wheel gun now with, Smith does, a 929. Is that correct, Michael?
That's right. It's, there's a 929 and, there's two 929s. There's a 7-shot 929 and a Performance Center 8-shot 9mm 929. And, the 7-shot comes in at $11.50 and the 12 for the 8-shot. So, you know.
For a revolver. Over $1,000. Wow. I paid $300 for mine at the time, and it was like new, and then paid almost that much for the laser grips I put on it.
See, that's something I never figured out. I mean, they make a 9 in an automatic, and it's a rimmed cartridge. Why don't they make, I mean, I think there's only 1 or 2 companies out there that make 357 Magnum in an automatic now. You know, and it's a rim cartridge too. What's so hard about making an automatic with a rim cartridge that nobody's doing it?
It's a pretty long cartridge though.
True.
You know, the AMT used to try to make like a 22 Magnums and stuff, and I've never had one that really fired well. They never.
I'm not a fan of a longer cartridge like that in a semi-auto. It makes the grip feel clunky. Another problem you're
really wide. I can imagine. Another
problem you're going to find is a semi-automatic usually likes to feed a jacketed bullet.
Yeah,
and it's not hard to find a jacketed bullet for a 357. It just costs a lot more.
True.
A lot more, and you're finding premium ammunition every time, basically.
I do like a 357 round also.
I think 357 is the way to go. I mean,
I had
this discussion with a friend of mine. If you're in that situation where you can have one handgun for the rest of your life, there are no other handguns, there are no spares. If this firearm breaks, that's it. You're stuck with it. This is it. You have one handgun to use for the rest of your life.
Ruger single 6.
I'm probably going with the Ruger Blackhawk in 357.
Which is a single 6 too, basically.
Yeah.
It's a single double, yeah.
I would have to go with the Colt Python.
That's a nice gun too.
Those guns the price of them is crazy. They have gone what you call plum crazy. And in the last year I've seen them go from like $1,200 to $2,400.
Holy mackerel.
That's a new in a box one.
That's insane price.
I saw old beat up lawmen and old troopers going for $800.
Just because they have the pony stamped on them.
That's it. That damn horse costs a lot of money.
But
that's
it gets you a lot of money.
Though.
If you invest in those horses, they come back double, basically, at least. That's been my situation anyway.
Beat up or not beat up, it's still going to work like a champ. You know what I mean?
Yeah, the
you
Python
blew
is the best revolver ever produced, in my opinion, and a lot of people's opinion, really. They're very accurate, very smooth trigger on those things, and they shoot like a dream.
The 357 Magnum has been rated as a 96% stop. 96% of the time it stops whatever it's hitting.
Yeah.
You really can't beat that. I don't think anything else comes even close to that. Not the 45, not the 44, not the 50 Beowulf or whatever the cartridge week is. The 357 Magnum is the standard.
It's like when you wheel that gun out, as soon as you cock that hammer, it's like racking a shotgun. If somebody hears that hammer cock, they kind of stop their foot, you know. Whoop. If they're coming in the house, they hear that hammer cock back.
Yeah, it can
It's
be.
kind of like racking a shotgun.
Exactly. That's a universal sound, racking a shotgun.
Yep. And just the look of the revolver. I mean, it's a beefy ass gun.
Well, not only that, it does what it sets out to do.
Right.
There's no need to put a laser on it. There's no need to put anything fancy on it. It doesn't have a Picatinny rail on it. There's nothing like that. It is pure business. Yeah. And to be honest with you, my choice, the Blackhawk, is fairly stout. Single action. It does one thing and it does that thing well. And
there's not going to be no jams. You know what I mean?
There's not any jams, and it's robust. It's a very heavy design. It's well made. Quality materials. That's a fine weapon. And to be honest with you, they come in fairly cheap in the used market. You can get a fine one for about $400.
Yep.
Well, you can't beat that. And the Super Blackhawk, which is the 44 Magnum, is a pretty nice gun also, Michael. I like the 44 Magnum round too.
Wow.
It's a little much for me, but the stopping power is undeniable.
They're a lot of fun to shoot and put in women's hands. They take a good grip now. Just give them the one bullet, I think Eddie called it the Barney Fife method. You give them one bullet.
That's right, yeah.
So they don't drop it and shoot their foot off. Yeah.
Then now, we wouldn't do that with somebody who's shooting for the first time, but it's important for somebody to see that there are different power levels out there, that not all of them are the same.
Yeah, that's true. And people are amazed at what little kick an AR-15 has in it.
It's definitely not commensurate with the noise that it makes.
No. That's a fact. My biggest noisemaker is a 22-250 though. That's a loud gun. It's a 30-06 neck down to a 22 bullet basically. And
I'm still thinking that little North American Arms with the 22, with the Stinger in it's pretty damn loud.
Yeah, that's a loud little gun too. Hard to hang on to. Takes two hands to shoot that little mouse gun. That's what I'll always call them, Michael's mouse gun. Sorry about that. I own 4 of them and got one in my pocket right now. So.
Dan, they're my favorite. They're absolutely my favorite. You can't beat it. It's purely for you at that point. And it's not an offensive weapon. It's purely for your defense. It's life insurance you can't pay for.
Yeah, we've only got a few minutes. Jimmy, I understand you were in the service. Is that correct?
Yes.
I want to thank you for your service to our country, by the way.
Thanks a lot, Jimmy.
Thank you.
And I'd also like to give a shout out to some guys that are serving our country right now over in Korea. Nick, Michael's brother, and the guys over there. We're still thinking about you guys over there, and we always will.
Want you guys home as fast as you can get here.
Yeah, we need you back because the war's with Washington.
That's one thing that really pisses me off is all these guys having to go to Afghanistan, Iran 3 times, 4 times, whatever, all these tours of duty. That's got to do something to you mentally over time. And who knows what kind of pills and medicine they're giving, there's no telling.
A lot of them find it really hard to re-involve themselves in society when they get back too, because they spent too much time over there. They've spent way too much time over there.
I just can't imagine putting up with that day in and day out, being a target essentially. That's what you are, as a target.
Come home, fellas. Bring your weapons. Come home.
That's what we need. We need them all to come home.
Come home safely. And, up next is, Prepper Chicks After Dark. Looking forward to that. I'm going to try to listen to some of that tonight. Michael, Jimmy, thank you for coming on with us.
Hey, you're welcome.
Great show tonight. Michael, you got to find a word.
Well, I would just like to thank everybody for coming out and giving us a listen. Thanks to UCY.TV for giving us a platform to rant. Everybody stick around. Prepper Chicks After Dark. Thanks a lot for listening. UCY.TV. Thanks a lot, Jules.